Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to the garden. Today we are going to be taking a closer look at our tulips and how to use our tulips as cut flowers. Now tulips they come in a wide range of colors and shapes and even forms, from the doubles, the fringe and parrot tulips. They really are an excellent way to enjoy both a beautiful show in your garden as well as a beautiful show in a flower vase. Give flower arrangements to other people, brighten their day, all that good stuff. It's one of the many reasons I absolutely love them. Obviously, double tulips are my favorite if you've been on the channel for any amount of time. But this video kind of relates to any kind of tulip, really, when you want to use them as a cut flower. So the thing to keep in mind about picking tulips is, first you want to put some gloves on. The bulbs and the plants can contain some toxins that can irritate your skin, so you want to think safety first. I always wear gloves because my skin does break out really bad when I handle the bulbs and the plants. You can pick the tulips at any stage you want. In the very beginning, you can pick them in bud form when that flower bud is showing its color. The color of the flower is nice and saturated. It's soft to the touch. That's usually a safe time to begin picking your tulips if you want the absolute longest vase life. However, if you're like me and you like to enjoy the tulips in your garden for a while as well as in a vase, you can let those tulips go ahead and open up in the garden, open up to their full potential, enjoy them for a couple days, just let your neighbors be envious of your beautiful tulips, and then pick them, and they will still have a pretty decent vase life even then. A lot of times this might not even be an intentional thing. This is most often the case for me because my spring temperatures are so warm. Sometimes I go outside and the tulips are just open. There was, I planned to get them before they opened, but by the time I got out there it was already so hot they just burst open and I missed them. I can still pick them, so that's a good thing. Next, we want to think about how we are going to pick them. Now, some places tulips behave as perennials. They'll bloom, you'll leave the foliage there, the next year they will bloom again, and so on and so on. Here in my yard, here in my growing zone, this has never happened for me. They bloom, the next year the foliage comes back, but I never get a flower, okay? For this reason, I always treat my tulips as annuals. So when I pick my tulips, I'm just going to reach to the base of the plant and pull out the entire plant, hopefully pull out the bulb as well. Now, if you plan on leaving them in the ground as a perennial, when you are picking the flower, you'll want to take some garden snips and snip at the base of the stem, but you want to leave as much foliage. You want to leave as much foliage as possible. You're just going to pick that flower stem only. The reason for this is if you are trying to perennialize your tulips, you want to leave as much of that foliage as long as possible so that it can store up energy for next season. Now, since I am just pulling these completely out, I'm going to snip the bulb off the bottom and I am going to remove any of the foliage that I don't want. Ideally, I like to let the tulips sit in a cool container of clean water for, about a day, minimum 6 hours before I start arranging the flowers, just to make sure that they are nice and hydrated. If you aren't arranging the flowers at that time or within the next couple of days, you can also store them in cool storage. I have a video about that if you want to check that out. Just look up storing tulips in spare fridge or something like that on my channel. I haven't named it yet, so you'll have to forgive me. But that's an easy way to store your tulips for about, a few weeks to extend the length of time that you have them available for, say, your customers who buy cut flowers at the farmer's market, or, or maybe you're planning a wedding and you want to use your own cut flowers, whatever you may be doing. If you are arranging the tulips in a vase, it is also important to remember that tulips are unique in that they keep growing. So if you arrange a tulip vase one day, 3 days later, those tulip stems might be exceptionally longer and kind of hanging over the vase. I should also mention that they do tend to follow the sunlight and kind of open and close in the vase according to, the daylight. So in order to keep them fresh as long as possible, storing them in the coolest place will definitely help with that, as long as just your standard practices to keep flowers fresh. This includes, you know, changing the water out of the vase every other day or every day in some cases to make sure that water is nice and fresh. Trimming the stems every day or every other day. That is especially important with tulips, as I mentioned, because they do tend to get taller and taller in some instances and begin to droop, which droopy tulips is never a good thing, I don't think. Picking the tulips, sometimes they can droop, which is always a massive bummer. But the thing about that is, I've found that as long as you are picking them when the weather is cool, they do not droop as much when you first arrange them. This is also true to make sure you're conditioning them as well. As I mentioned, just sitting them in the water before you do any kind of arranging. I find that I only have trouble with droopy tulips on the days that are exceptionally hot and I'm just picking them during the hottest part of the day. That's always when I have the worst results. That's really about it for this video. I can't help but feel like I am absolutely forgetting something. I'm sure I'll think of it after I publish this. I always do. If you have any questions about using tulips as cut flowers, let me know down in the comments below. Have you ever used them for cut flower arrangements? Have you ever grown them for an event or anything? I always love hearing y'all's stories. I always learn so much from you guys. I think I learn more from you guys than I learn from anything else. If you are new to the channel and this is your first time here and you like the video, be sure to subscribe. We would absolutely love to have you join the channel. Hit that little bell icon and get notifications if you want them. Be sure to share the video. Tell your friend about it. Tell your friend to come on over and hang out with us. It's up to you. Either way, I'd really, really appreciate it. I am so thankful that you have taken the time to watch this video. I hope that you guys are having such an incredible day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.